This is our Earth week in this class. We're going to start next week. We're going to talk about Mercury and the moon. But we're going to wrap up by just kind of pausing for a moment to consider our place in space. You know, we're one little planet in the solar system. And what is the perspective that that gives us? We've talked about comparing to other planets, but also, you know, what do we see from our spot? So to get to this question and what I mean, I'm going to talk to you guys briefly about the Voyager missions. So Voyager 1 and 2 were two space probes launched in the 1970s to study the outer planets, so Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Mars. We're going to discuss them in a lot more detail in this class going forward. The reason, though, the Voyagers are important, as you can see, they went out and they're never coming back. So they're actually the furthest things that we still communicate with out there in the outer solar system. In fact, there's a joke that Voyager 1, which of course launched first, has actually left the solar system many times, depending how you define solar system. It's so far out that it's past what's called the heliosphere and gone into what is defined as interstellar space. The other thing that's very famous about these Voyager missions is here on the right, because we knew they were never coming back to the Earth, we actually put what are called two golden records on both of these. So if someday, you know, some aliens millions and millions of miles, just light years away from us, were to recover one of these Voyager crafts, they actually have on this. This is first a map of how to find Earth based off of pulsars in our galaxy. Then we have all these different things on how to play the record. It's the 70s, guys. They didn't have digital, you know, we did a record. And then there's on it recordings of humans. And there's also in this, not on the recording, but there's pictures of what life is like on Earth. So, you know, if you want to pause and think about how we present ourselves to, if anybody would ever find the Voyager probes, that is a very good example of what people have thought about. And you can go online and listen to the Voyager record if you want. There's a lot of very diverse things on there. The final thing that Voyager 1 did before they turned off its camera forever was on February 14, 1990, it was beyond the orbit of Neptune. And Voyager 1 looked back at Earth from this great, great distance and took a photograph. And I'm going to show you guys what it saw. So we have this picture. You have these rays because it was pointing pretty close to the sun. So you have a, camera saturation effect. And can people see the Earth on this? I'm seeing heads shaking. So I put an arrow. See that little dot? That is the planet Earth on this. So at this great, great distance, all you have left is a little dot. So there was a famous astronomer named Carl Sagan who actually wrote something about this dot. It's called the pale blue dot. And it's worth covering in this class, so we're going to wrap up with this. So look again at that dot. That's here. That's home. That's us. On it, everyone you love, everyone you know, everyone you ever heard of, every human being who ever was lived out their lives. The aggregate of our joy and suffering, thousands of confident religions, ideologies, economic doctrines, every hunter and voyager, every hero and coward, every creator and destroyer of civilization, every king and peasant, every young couple in love, every mother and father, hopeful child, inventor and explorer, every teacher of morals, every corrupt politician, every superstar, every supreme leader, every saint and sinner in the history of our species lived here on a mote of dust suspended in a sunbeam. The Earth is a small stage in a vast cosmic arena. Think of the rivers of blood spilled by those generals and emperors so that in glory and triumph, they could become momentary masters of a fraction of a dot. Think of the endless cruelties visited by the inhabitants of one corner of this pixel on the scarcely distinguishable inhabitants of some other corner, how frequent their misunderstandings, how eager they are to kill one another, how fervent their hatreds. Our posturings, our imagined self-importance, the delusion that we have some privileged position in the universe are challenged by this pale point of light. Our planet is a lonely speck in the great enveloping cosmic dark. In our obscurity, in all the vastness, there is no hint that help will come from elsewhere to save us from ourselves. The Earth is the only world known so far to harbor life. There is nowhere else, at least in the near future, to which our species could migrate. Visit? Yes. Settle? Not yet. Like it or not, for the moment, the Earth is where we make our stand. It has been said that astronomy is a humbling and character-building experience. There is perhaps no better demonstration of the folly of human conceits than this distant image of our tiny world. To me, it underscores our responsibility to deal more kindly with one another and to preserve and cherish our pale blue dot, the only home we've ever known.